Hi, this is the Panic Button. I'm Nina.
I'm Jessie.
You're not a scary, hairy monster today.
I couldn't think of anything in the minute.
Oh, okay.
I'm a dancing crab.
Anyway, we're gonna talk about Elliot Ellen Page and her trans joy and what that's all about.
Tarnished memory because of what Page was asked to wear to the premiere.
Yeah, that whole Juno time, that was quite the time. I was planning on wearing jeans and a Western-ish shirt to Juno's world premiere. They said I should wear a dress and heels.
Now Page is sharing his story in a candid new memoir and audiobook, Page Boy.
I used to find it and still find it tricky to talk about because it's not like someone was like forcing, clothing on my physical body, but that is what it felt like. So I put on the dresses and the makeup. I did the photo shoots. I was struggling with depression and having panic attacks so bad I would collapse. I was incapable of articulating the depth of pain I was in. I think with gender dysphoria, it's, being assigned a gender at birth based.
Dude, that shit is corny as fuck. The slow-mo, the looking out pensively.
I think people are really, really fixated on themselves. And
I
I think
agree.
that's the problem, is you didn't have to wear the dress. You even admitted it. You didn't have to. You could have said, I don't want to. But because you couldn't vocalize your feelings, now you feel like you have to transition so people accept your choices. But that's not the truth. You could have worn a Western shirt. You could have worn a flannel and jeans because you're the star of the movie. No one is forcing you to. And I, on a regular daily basis, probably dress more masculine than feminine. But that doesn't mean I'm a boy. That doesn't mean that they got my gender wrong at birth. No, I'm a lesbian, which is what you are.
Is
Still a lesbian.
Yes.
You're just taking all these drugs to remedy something that you've made up in your own head. We got past gender stereotypes.
Now they're enforcing them again.
Yeah. All because you didn't have the strength in the moment to say, this is what I want. And trust me, I get that. I'm literally working on that in therapy. But maybe that's what you should have done before you started taking testosterone.
Well, look how popular she got after transitioning.
Does that look happy?
No, it looks old.
And kind of miserable.
She got old when she transitioned and divorced, mind you, because she was married to a lesbian, which is not
Balding.
very kind to your partner.
You see?
Yeah,
Balding.
that's what's going to happen. But she's got the money to take care of the balding and all the surgeries and stuff like that. She's got the cash to do it. Most people who probably suffer worse than her, who are actually trans, don't have the finances to do it.
Well, maybe she is actually trans. We don't have that insight, I'm
Yep.
not trying to knock whatever experience she's experiencing, but I can tell you that from my perspective, you just don't know how to vocalize how you're feeling, and instead of saying, I'm a woman who likes to dress masculine, you took hormones and you fell into what everyone told you you should have been. You know how many times people called me, one of the dudes, a guy, just like my brothers, I could have gone down the same path, but it's a matter of self-respect and, vocalizing how you feel. Elliot suppressed these feelings so much that now the only acceptable way to feel them is to fit in with society's impression of what you think was wrong with you to begin with.
Yeah, she made a hard right turn into trying to be a man, but it's not going to work. It hasn't worked. Look at her. That's trans joy right there. That is joy. I said that's joy! I don't believe it. I don't care how many people scream at me.
Gender at birth based on your genitalia, and that not being the reality of who you are. I think it especially became complicated as an actor.
I hate this. They assign us a gender at birth, like they know something about us. No, nobody knows anything. You're a baby. You don't have a personality yet. You're screaming and crying and pissing, and nobody knows what to do. They're telling you what medical procedures to follow with your child. They're telling you what genitals your child has. They're not telling you Your daughter's going to be a ballet dancer.
A lesbian ballet dancer.
They're not telling you that. They're
No.
telling you, hey, you have to make sure you want right front to back with this one. You don't want to get anything up there. That's what they're telling you. They're not telling you anything else.
This always makes me wonder whenever they bring up the gender-assigned at birth. It always makes me remember fondly gender reveal parties.
They still do them.
They were super popular back in the day until like a forest fire started.
No, they still do them.
They still do
They
them?
still do gender reveals.
It's not popular anymore. The media doesn't show any of that stuff anymore. The mainstream media doesn't show it.
No, but if you go through like Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, they still exist.
I'm talking about they're not mainstream anymore.
Yeah, because it's wrong to apparently
Assume
tell someone what genitals they
a
have.
fetus is gender. The genitalia.
I'm sorry. Like I
Why
said,
are you saying I'm sorry?
I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying I'm sorry to them. It's like,
It doesn't mean anything besides directions on how your medical history is going to go and how to take care of your child. Like I said, especially with the at birth thing, they're just telling you make sure you wipe front to back. Like they're not telling you anything else.
Yeah.
They're trying to not have you give your baby poo-poo vagina. But they don't have to worry about that with guys. And so when they say female, male when they're born, it doesn't mean they won't transition. It doesn't mean they won't be gay. It doesn't mean they're going to fit that exact type. It just means
penis or vagina.
Because people would just go, you're an actor. Like, just put on the clothes, you know? But needless to say, it was so much more than that.
Growing up in Nova Scotia, Canada, Page says he questioned his gender from an early age.
Can I be a boy? I asked my mother at 6 years old. No, hon, you can't. You're a girl, my mother responded. It was unfathomable to me that I wasn't a boy. Everyone around me saw a different person than I saw.
Okay. So when I was a kid, I wanted to be a boy too. I didn't want to wear dresses. I cried horrifically. Anytime my mom tried to make me wear a dress and those ugly little girly shoes.
the first time I was told to not wear tights under my dress, I cried the whole night because I felt so exposed. And I was like 7 years old.
I wanted to be a boy. I hung out with the boys. I played with boy toys. Doing boy stuff was more fun. So I thought it would be better if I could be a boy. But even in my mind as a child, I knew that wasn't possible at all.
Maybe it's because my parents really didn't treat those roles like that. But my parents didn't give a once I found I was gay, that was different. But like when I was a kid, they'd get me boys' toys. They were like, she likes science and shit.
Right. Now, if we would have grown up today not adhering to any gender norms because we'd be kids today,
Yeah, that's what we did.
I would have been transitioned.
But today, yeah.
Because teachers would have been like, oh, well, you are a boy. Or, oh, you can be a boy. You don't have to just play with the boys and hope to be one. You can actually be one. It would have totally mind-fucked me.
My siblings closest in age are my brothers. So I would hang out and play with my brothers a lot, but it never made my parents question if I was, like, even gay as a kid. They just really were like, she's just an interested kid.
Oh, the adults around me knew I was gay.
I had a couple say that they knew, but like
I mean, not my parents,
my
but-
direct parents did not know. It had no
No.
clue, and they'd give me
No.
like spy toys and shit like that, which are normally for boys.
Yeah.
But they were like, nah, she's into science and shit. Why wouldn't we support the good things that she's into? So that's why. I mean, my mom was also in the army. This is not like Christian heterosexual people fighting gender norms. My mom brings home the money. It's like.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's why it's just so like astonishingly mind-blowing to me, because they never told me I had to be a boy. In fact, they were like, maybe be a little more girly, but we're not going to push it down your throat.
My question to those trans people is, if you've never been, like, for her, she's never been a guy.
Yeah.
So how does she know that she wants to be a guy if she's never been a guy? She's only seen guys.
This is where we get into the problem, right?
Yeah.
How does she know? Because she's never been one. Right.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
However, that's when you start tiptoeing into non-binary, because they've never been a guy, but now they've never been a girl, and so now they're non-binary.
Non-binary is just androgyny. Like I was telling you yesterday, in the 80s and the 90s, a lot of supermodels were androgynous. But did we say, oh, that's them. Hi. Or, oh, that's he, she, it. No. It's an androgynous woman or an androgynous man. And they didn't call themselves hi. My pronouns are androgyny. No, non-binary is just androgyny wrapped up in some fake gender title.
Yeah.
And then I saw I wasn't growing up in a progressive atmosphere by any means. And, the situation my mom was in, minister's daughter, born in 1954, she was, doing her best. She didn't know what to do. At 10, people started addressing me as a boy. Having won a year-long battle to cut my hair short, I started to get a "thanks, bud" when holding the door for someone at the Halifax shopping center.
When I was a kid, I cut my hair really short because I wanted to be a boy. I was 10 years old. I got horrifically made fun of because I was at a Catholic elementary school with nuns and priests.
That's crazy.
And the kids were not very nice. And I did get called a boy.
I remember that a kid at my school got called a boy. I was a girl. But they never took it bad. And they're still a girl to this day.
I didn't take it bad when it happened to me. My mom was more embarrassed. I was like, they're rocketing right through and going right into transition when they're not taking the time to figure themselves out.
Well,
especially kids, dude.
I think that, okay, so with your upbringing
Yeah.
and how you felt growing up,
Yes.
don't you think that one girl looking at you that you had a crush on saying something like, well, if you were a boy, that would have pushed you in that direction?
When I was in high school, there were no lesbians or gays. Now, I knew who they were, but they didn't come out. And the one thing I really wanted was, God, I wish I was a guy. Because the girls I was attracted to in high school, I
Straight.
probably could have dated if I were a guy. Yeah. Now, today, most of them probably would have been gay. Or at least
Curious.
questioning.
Curious.
Yeah. But back then, nothing. I thought I was going to be single the rest of my life, or I was going to have to date butch women. And I didn't want to do that because I'm attracted to women, not masculine women.
You just had to wait 15 years.
I know.
You did
If
it.
I would have known that there was going to be this explosion of gayness, I would have felt a little bit better knowing, if I could have seen into the future, I would have been like, okay, there's going to be women out there for me.
I was
But at the
convinced.
time, I just wanted to be a guy because I thought it would be easier. Go ahead.
I graduated in 2017, and in my little tiny school, there was maybe three gay people.
And that's in 2017. That's insane. There should have been way more.
And so in my head, I was always just like, there's gotta be more out there. I never thought, because I remember I dated the only other lesbian there. There's three of us. I dated one of the other ones, right?
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, there's gotta be something out there better than this. There's gotta be more. There's gotta be more.
I know.
Especially when I looked at her and I was like, where do you see us in 5 years? And she goes, I don't know. I wouldn't be happy, but I wouldn't be sad. I was like, why are we doing this?
Because you're the only lesbians aside from one more.
I mean, at that point I was 17 and I asked her that and I was like, yeah, we're done here. That's when I called it quits on that one because I was like, if there's no, and that's the problem is you settle in that mindset and then you are asking yourself that question, where am I gonna be if I stay with you in 5 years? And realistically, if I stay with the one other lesbian, it wasn't gonna work out well.
So do you want it to be a boy too, just so you could have more options?
I wanted to be a boy because the girl I had a crush on literally looked at me and said, if you were a boy, we could do this, but I can't. And her mom would hate her and Jesus would hate her. And I sat there and I thought to myself, man, it would be easier if I was a guy, but I have a vagina and boobs and I really like them. So
Some Christians have a very, very mean Jesus. He's very judgmental.
I went through, like, I think I've talked about this lightly. I went through my own process at like 15 years old to feeling like, my own way with religion. Because they do have a very mean perspective on their God.
They do.
I was lucky to have a mom that even let me get to that place at 10 to look like how I did. But I could sense her discomfort. I could sense her embarrassment. As I aged,
The more you hear her story, doesn't it remind you of when you were a kid? Because it totally reminds me of me. And
Yeah,
her and I are the same age.
I'll also give that this is clearly someone who would have been more lesbian leaning anyways. And I'm not saying Ellen Page isn't trans. I'd say she's obviously confused because her life growing up, she felt more comfortable dressing the way she dressed. But the reason she's feeling this way is due to just misogyny. It's not, and everything that she's changed is due to the feelings of other people.
The people that transition after they get married and have a partner, these people I don't believe are truly trans.
This is all physical,
This is
materialistic
here.
image. This is all physical stuff you can change that is being talked about.
Yeah.
You are a masculine presenting lesbian. You're probably a golden retriever, honestly. That's
Yeah.
probably where you fall. And because you've heard all this, that, and the other thing, you know how many, I'm going to say this because I know you hate butches, but
Yeah.
you know how many,
I don't hate them. I just would never date them.
you know how many beautiful butch women have been destroyed because they look like men now?
Destroyed how? Oh, because now they're trans?
Yes. And because they've taken all these hormones, there are lesbians that love butch women. I'm a lesbian who ended up with butch women.
Were you attracted to them sexually?
Sometimes. Depends on the woman.
Okay.
But my point is, there's a lot of genuinely beautiful butch women out there who have good looks that are destroying them by taking testosterone and balding.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
As much as
'cause
you might not like them
lesbian-
yourselves,
I know,
but other lesbians are losing their mates.
lesbians aren't going to date them because they're going to be like, okay, you have no tits, which, if you're a lesbian, you love tits. You love real tits.
I don't
You know,
want to
I
suck
mean,
on.
if they're fake and they're attached to a biological woman, that's okay.
I don't want to suck on a nipple that's been
Removed?
removed and reattached. I feel
Or
like
some of them don't
I
have
feel like
them.
it's kind of like a pepperoni like pepperoni stuck on cheese. It's just gonna, you know.
Some of them don't even have the nipples.
I know, it's
They
crazy.
get completely removed. Okay, so you have
I
that.
couldn't do that. You
then
know
you
how I
got
like
the
my
balding, right? And then when they start the testosterone, I guess they start acting like teenage boys,
I'm
very immature.
I'm just saying it's definitely taking partners away
Oh,
from
fuck yeah.
from lesbians.
Because lesbians won't date them once those people transition. They can't look at them as a
A woman.
a possible partner.
Like you no longer have the aesthetic of a woman,
Nope.
despite having the genitals of a woman.
So there's no sexual attraction there.
Exactly,
anymore.
which makes it so, like, if I see a trans man walking in public, I'm not attracted to them. But if they were probably pre-T and pre all these other things, I'd probably have been like, oh, she's cute, you know, like.
Yeah, but once they start to transition into men, they're not actually transitioning into men, but you know what I'm talking about. Once they start doing that to themselves, you lost the qualities of attractiveness to potential partners
Right.
because of something that's happening in here, and everyone talking around you.
Yeah. I'm attracted to strong women,
Yes.
usually dominating women. And that often comes in the form of a butch woman. I mean, it's just how it is.
Now, would you still be attracted to me if I cut off my tits
No.
and started balding? Why? I'm still a woman,
Tits.
right? Well, trans woman could have tits.
Are you getting rid of your tits?
What about a trans woman?
Trans man.
No, a trans woman has tits. Why aren't you attracted to her?
Penis.
Okay,
Big
but
hands.
but the trans man
Tall.
has a vagina.
I've been with both.
I know. I'm trying to use examples and arguments that they would probably say. Like they would probably say,
I've dated both.
if you don't want to date a woman because she's now a trans man, and you're only attracted to people with vaginas, then how come you're not attracted to trans women? You know,
Well, they don't have the parts that work with my parts.
but the trans
I'm not
man
touching their
does.
parts. I've dated longer a trans, non-binary,
Yeah.
male-identifying, whatever you want to call it,
That acted like
a child.
like a teenage boy, but she wasn't on T.
Yes. No, she didn't act like a teenage boy.
No?
Teenage boys want to.
Okay.
She acted like a child.
Child.
She acted like she was my child.
Yeah, you were her mother. Ugh.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But and so I guess my point is, and we even had that conversation because she didn't have any operations done.
Yeah.
And she said to me the one day, "What do you think about me going into this part of my transition?" I was like, "Are you cutting off your tits?" Maybe. And I was like, "Well, that might be a deal breaker for me."
Oh yeah.
Like it really, like but if you go from looking feminine and then you completely take it away, I'm now dating a guy,
You're
like a
dating-
real guy. And she asked me to call me calling me
You're
my
not dating a
girlfriend.
real guy. You're dating a mentally ill
not-
woman who chopped off her boobs.
Not like a real guy, but like
Yeah.
you look like a real guy to me now. You don't look like a lady.
I mean, could you imagine, like, you're cuddling with each other, right? And there's just no boobs. It's just flat, you know? It's just, no boobs, no cushion. But there's vagina there.
I mean, yeah.
But it's like a feminine fake man body and then vag.
It reminds me of dating my
With
gay boyfriend.
Giant clitoris. Because that's what happens to him.
It reminds me of high school dating my gay boyfriend, like
Oh,
laying against
yeah.
his chest.
Yeah, I guess it'd be like dating a gay guy with
We cuddled and stuff. Don't get me wrong, but we just never went.
further than that.
Yeah, we were like
Yeah.
really good friends who like snuggled up sometimes.
There you go.
The pressure from my mother to alter my appearance began to increase alongside the bullying at school. I tried. My mom's joy and relief faded to disappointment as I began to return to my original state. When my, body started to change and clothes sat on me differently, and all of that was the beginning of really sort of, disconnecting from myself and feeling a degree of discomfort that was very erosive and damaging.
I forgot my point because you took so long to fucking
Right?
say anything.
She looks like she hasn't slept in like a year.
Puberty changes a lot in your body, especially from when you're a kid. And that's okay to be uncomfortable with, but it doesn't mean that you're trans still. Because I felt uncomfortable during puberty. Every female in the world, basically,
Living on this earth has gone through this
has gone through
experience.
this because we have media and we have everyone. I'm sure you've heard enough times. Well,
Yep.
why didn't you lose some weight? Well, why didn't you put on some makeup? Why didn't you wear a dress? Well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?
Oh, look, you're getting boobs. You're
You should
filling
smile
out
more.
Oh, look, you're getting hips. Yeah, heard
Oh,
it all
I-
before. Hated it.
I was told,
Hated it.
Look at those little mosquito bites.
Oh, yeah, when people start sexualizing you, the last thing you want to do is keep growing. You
Yes.
want to be a dude instead. You don't want your body. Everything
guys don't have that
starts
pressure.
No, they don't have that kind of pressure.
They're told to stay fit, right? But other than that, they don't have to like, oh, he's more attractive than me. Like it's not as
They go through their own shit, but they don't go through the
Yes.
shit that women go through when
as far
they're
as-
reaching
as
puberty.
image. As far as image and
Yeah.
how you look and presenting to the world, men
Yes.
want to look strong usually.
Yes.
Women want to look attractive.
Yes.
It's that simple.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's quite simple. What she went through during her childhood is what all of us fucking went through, especially the lesbians.
Well, not all of us, but a lot of us. There was the popular girls. They didn't go through this shit.
Okay. They probably did, though, in some way or another. They were starving themselves, sticking their finger down their goddamn throat. I've seen it a million times. There's so many bitches doing that in my high school. Oh, hell yeah.
I had a very small school. We had like 3 of those also. You just kind of.
We had a lot of them.
Per grade.
A lot of girls with body issues. Anorexia, bulimia, all that stuff. Oh, yeah, cutting? Ooh, that was a big one, too.
We didn't
Big
really have a
one.
lot of that either in my school. It was very small.
Well, she's my age. She was going through the same thing that I was, except she was a celebrity.
Yeah,
So as she became older,
she changed. Yeah, changed her shit because she wanted to.
because she could, and because the people surrounding her
Told her she should.
were affirming. Instead of asking questions, they were just affirming. If you don't ask questions, they're going to go down this road. And what happens then? Trans joy. Trans joy. Is this what it is? Trans joy? She got married and she was having sex with a woman.
Really?
Yeah, using her genitalia. So
You
why
don't-
didn't during sex she have these issues?
You don't know that she didn't simply provide pleasure to her partner. You weren't there.
She was married to a lesbian.
Yeah, but you don't know that she's like she could be a pillow princess.
Why the fuck did they get married then?
Let's say hypothetically she is someone with gender dysphoria.
Okay.
Sensationalizing it is so not the route to go.
Yeah, it's influencing a lot
Because-
of children too.
Because you're not only influencing children, but you're saying that this is a fix.
Yeah, an easy fix.
A
The only
guaranteed
fix.
A guaranteed fix.
The only one, too. They never give you any other options, do they? Or do they ever say anything about the side effects?
You'd think that someone who had experienced gender dysphoria would not want to be seen as someone who used to be anything besides what they are now.
Yes. Yes. A lot of them are like that. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So the fact that Elliot or Ellen is so comfortable talking about it with everyone, it's just a big warning. Like, it's sensationalizing someone, giving them attention for something they're apparently hating is not a good thing. No. It's not like they saved a bunch of children from a burning fire. It's not like they saved...
No, but she's talking to kids.
And that's
thinking
the
she's
problem.
saving them.
Instead, they're tossing them into the fire with stuff like this.
Yeah. This is Elliot Page responding to a child's question. A 10-year-old, mind you.
So what would you say to like a 10-year-old who is just starting to come out as trans and who's like, my friends, myself have been like, I'm not calling you that, no. What would you say to like somebody like that? Like,
Who's saying those things? Who's
Yeah.
saying, who's not being supportive? You
Yeah.
mean, what you'd say to them? Oh, what I'd say to them. Ooh, who is it? Give me their number.
Just running to beat up a kid? Okay, so Jess has to go to work. We're kind of rushing it. Sorry, we had to stop
Don't
mid-video.
threaten children.
Sorry, we had to stop mid-video. Like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this. Comment below if you want us to keep talking about Elliot Page. You need to go to work, bitch. Go, bitch, go!